This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Man who allegedly attacked a cop in Spanish Town shot and injured. A man was shot and injured by a policeman he allegedly attacked in Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Saturday morning. It's reported that about 9:30, the man chopped another man with a machete before running into a business place on Burke Road. A complaint was later made to the policeman, who went to apprehend the attacker. Upon entering the business establishment, the enraged man allegedly chopped at the policeman, who drew his service pistol and fired at the man. Details of the man's injury are not known. The UCCS condemns the selfish killing of correctional officer Shannon Briscoe. The Department of Correctional Services has condemned the murder of 38-year-old correctional officer Shannon Briscoe, whose body was discovered in his community of Seaview Gardens in St. Andrew on Saturday. Briscoe was reported missing on August 11. Commissioner of Corrections Lieutenant Colonel Gary Rowe said the DCS family is saddened by the loss. He said it has been a gloomy day for the department, especially the staff at the Horizon Adult Remand Center in Kingston, where Briscoe was assigned up to the time of his death. We are intolerant of this unnecessary and selfish act of crime. We take this matter seriously and will be working with the Jamaica Constabulary Force in whatever way we can for those responsible to be brought to justice, Rose said. Briscoe joined the DCS in 2020 as a member of the 78th intake of correctional officers. The DCS said its chaplaincy unit will be providing counseling to those affected by the killing. Commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police Division, Superintendent Kirk Ricketts, earlier confirmed that Briscoe's car was found in Trenchtown in western Kingston on Friday. He was last seen about 5 p.m. on August 11 en route to Halfway Tree and the Seaview Gardens. His body was discovered in a gully and later identified by his sister, Miss Lynn Donor. She broke down in tears and received comfort from persons at the scene, including Briscoe's former supervisor, who declined to be named. Superintendent Ricketts said a motive for the killing has not been established. Butcher killed robbed by armed customers in Bamboo St. Anne. A butcher was killed by two men posing as customers at his meat shop in Bamboo St. Anne on Friday night. Dead is Lester Henry of Clayground District in the parish. He is said to be in his 60s. The news understands that about 8 p.m., two men entered Henry's business establishment and ordered meat. While in the process of serving their item, Henry was shot several times by the men. Before escaping, the culprits allegedly robbed the butcher of an undetermined sum of cash and other items. Henry was assisted to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Education Minister warns against the locking out unruly students. Education Minister Favour Williams says school administrators need to be more creative in punishing students for indiscipline rather than seeking to lock them out as a first option response. Williams emphasized the government's policy during the first consultation on the ministry's draft dress and grooming policy for public educational institutions with school leaders and the deans of discipline at Jamaica College in St. Andrew on August 9. We are seeing that going first to locking out a child is never acceptable at our schools. Never. There have to be other ways of dealing with it, other than using the draconian way of locking them out of school, because that has all kinds of issues associated with it, she said. We have to get more creative than that when there is a violation of the rule, she emphasized. Williams noted that while the ministry understands that schools operate in varying contexts, barring students from entering contravenes Article 28 of the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child, as well as the 2004 Child Care and Protection Act. We are also aware that there are cultural dynamics and the differences of opinion as to what may be considered appropriate and relevant to the child's education, she said. She further disclosed that the proposed policy will establish a comprehensive framework for dress and grooming for public schools while taking into consideration cultural identity, climate situations, socio-economic conditions of parents, and the aims of educational institutions. Further consultations with education stakeholders are expected to take place. Wholeness sends a stern message to criminals points to imminent tough legislation. Prime Minister Andrew Wholeness on Saturday sent a firm message to criminals wreaking havoc across the country and the people facilitating them with shipments of illegal guns that the state will arrest and prosecute them. As of now, no one in Jamaica should have an illegal firearm. We have been giving you warnings about this. If you are caught with an illegal firearm, if you are dealing in firearms, if you are trafficking illegal firearms, if you are using illegal firearms, you will face a very harsh punishment, Wholeness said in an address to the Young Jamaica Area Council 1 conference at the Jamaica Labour Party headquarters on Belmont Road in St. Andrew. Young Jamaica is a youth affiliate of the ruling JLP. Stating that the government has been working very closely with the United States authorities to put an end to gun importation, Wholeness said, "Those people who are putting the guns in the barrels, I tell you, I am working on that element. We are going to get some of those people who are disassembling the guns and putting them into the rice bag, putting them into the soap and sending them in the barrels. We are going to get you." He said new legislation will be passed soon that will robustly attack the gun culture, which poses a serious threat to Jamaica's development. The people who think they are importing guns and we don't know, we are gathering the evidence, putting the case together, and we are putting it before the court. You are not hearing us out there running up our mouth and saying all kinds of things. We are serious about treating with this gun issue, he said. When the new legislation is passed, find a way to turn over the gun to the police. We might even give you some amnesty because we are going to make it unprofitable for you to have an illegal firearm, he said. He argued that the circumstances of each specific case cannot be used as basis for judgment and clarified that he wasn't making any commentary on the judicial system. But what we need to be clear on is that there must be a disincentive and a deterrent for the youngster who goes to school, play gun war, see his brother with a real gun, and decides that he wants one as well and goes and gets one, Wholeness said. That system must change, and you have to therefore put in place strong measures, including a legislative process that changes the risk-reward of owning a firearm and the interdiction and enforcement system, he continued. Wholeness pointed to the Get Every Illegal Gun campaign launched earlier this year, which was used to strengthen efforts against the illicit importation of guns through the country's ports. Earlier this year, Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang had credited improved technological solutions and increased collaboration between the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Customs Agency, the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, and the Jamaica Defense Force for successes in the campaign. The government said a reward system is embedded in the campaign under which between $250,000 and $500,000 is paid out for illegal weapons. People don't listen carefully when I speak. If you recall earlier in the year when we launched the Get Every Illegal Gun campaign, and then I said we are going to target the big fish, and then I tell you we are changing the law, so I have been giving people warning. I don't want anybody bawling. You have been given warning and you are seeing it materialize before your eyes, Wholeness said. Soldiers and a motorist injured in fiery St. James crash. 2 Jamaica Defense Force officers are among 3 persons who were seriously injured in a 3-vehicle accident in Montego Bay, St. James on Friday. Reports by the Freeport Police are that about noon, the soldiers were traveling in a service vehicle behind a police unit heading from the Bogue area and towards the West Gate. As the security personnel who were traveling with the sirens on were driving through the traffic lights at the West Green intersection, a Delta motor car traveling from West Green entered the roadway and collided with the JDF vehicle and a Toyota Fielder motor car. The impact resulted in the JDF vehicle overturning and the Delta motor car immediately burst into flames. The driver of the Delta motor car was rescued by other motorists who smashed his windscreen and pulled him free from the burning vehicle, but not before he sustained burns to his body. He, along with the 2 injured soldiers, were rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital for medical attention. The driver of the 3rd vehicle escaped unhurt. 1 unit from the Montego Bay Fire Department extinguished the blaze, but the car was completely destroyed. The crash resulted in a major traffic jam spanning several miles in the western end of the second city. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.